evening, everyone. So I've received several requests to do a video on how I assemble my cardstock charms or keychains. So in order to get to this stage where everything's been cut out, please look at my other videos. I believe there is one on how to cut a cardstock keychain from beginning to end. And then if there are any other requests for videos, please feel free to add them to the comments. If you do enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And then that way, anytime I upload anything new, you'll be notified. So let's get started. So as you can see, I've cut out everything that's required. What I like to do is I have my clip art, and where I get it from will be also in the description. I like to cut out various layers. So this is the original. This will be on top. Then I have the shadowed piece. Well, not even the shadowed piece. It's cut to measure. Then I have a shadow, or like they say, overlay. And then I like to have another overlay in the back, but this overlay will actually have the loop. All right, so again, I do 4 steps. The original clip art, an exact cutout, I guess the shadowing of it. Then I do an overlay or an outline, so it's slightly bigger. And then I do another one. However, this one will have the actual loop. And everything gets layered. So for the shadow pieces, I do 3. 1, 2, 3. Let me put them together here. So it'll basically be like that. Then I have the larger shadows, which are the offset or overlay. And then those go on top. Of course, it'll be better aligned once they're all glued together. And then I have, again, it's another 3 layers. So it's 3, 3, and then I do 4 in whatever solid color, be it black or white. And then I like to have a matching color to the clip art for the back. So then they would all go together here, with this one being in the back. And then you see it's quite thick and sturdy. And then once it's assembled, I like to add beads and charms to it, or even another little angel made out of metal wings or whatnot. Now what I use to assemble everything is Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. Now you can use any glue that you like, as long as it allows you some give time in between the assembly. You don't want something that's quick drying in case you have to move stuff around, because it makes it, it's a lot of a hassle if you have to keep on ripping things apart to restart. Once I've glued everything together, I do a clear spray coat of Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer. The reason why I do that is because my final layer is UV resin. Now with the UV resin, sometimes it gets absorbed by the paper and it makes the color look wet and non-consistent. And I really don't like that, because then I have to start over all over again. And that's a waste of paper, ink, and my other supplies. Another thing you can use instead of the UV resin is triple thick, which will add a very thick coating, similar to resin. Curing time is different. It's a bit longer. This is UV resin, and I have a UV light. It's similar to what you use when you do gel nails, and that cures within maybe 2 or 3 minutes. It depends on how many layers of resin that I do use. So once again, to assemble, I use just regular white tacky glue, something that does not dry quickly, so that way I have a little bit more time to maneuver stuff around. I then Once everything is assembled, spray a nice light coat of the clear acrylic sealer to avoid any running of the ink from my clip art. And then I will add the UV resin, put the project underneath my UV light for 2 or 3 minutes, or I use triple thick, which just dries regularly in the room. The tools I use in regards to putting everything on is just a regular old makeup brush for putting on the glue. And for the resin, to avoid having any streaks, I use a silicone makeup brush. I have other ones coming with different sizes, but you know, Amazon's kind of delayed these days with dealing with all the essential deliveries first. I forgot to mention too, once everything's assembled, I have the names that I put on. These charms are being made for several little princesses. Let me see if I can pick this up. So even with the name, sometimes I will just do a double layer. I'll have the name cut out separately and then the background. But to avoid the hassle, because sometimes it's very hard to assemble, is I did 3 shadows for the back. So those will be layered like this. And then this will go on top. And then you have a nice little thickness. Once that is done, it gets adhered to the front like so. And there you go. So that's the first part of the video. Let me just get everything situated once again, and I'll be right back. And so we're back. So what I did is I put some of my glue in a little container just to make it easier. And I will start off with the shadowing for the name. Now I don't touch anything with color as of yet. I rather deal with everything that's going to be in the middle of the actual charm. That way if I do make any mistakes, I can just cut some more out on my Cricut. And I use a Cricut Explorer 1. And it's very simple. Very thin layer of glue. And then you assemble. Press it down. Add the next layer. And you'll do that with all the other pieces. There you go. You try to make it as centered as possible. One thing about handmade stuff is that it's not expected to be perfect. We're not machines. And now that I got my 3 shadows together, I can add my name. And I press down just to make sure that everything is secure. And there you have it. Now I don't really worry about any little blemishes on the edge of the cardstock, because what happens is that once you put on your UV resin or your triple thick, you're able to manipulate everything so that it gets smooth and everything looks perfect. So you don't have to worry about that. If there are little pieces, like little frayed pieces like this, all that will be pressed down and compacted once you have used your resin or your triple thick. So what I had just done with the name itself is what I will do with every single layer that is white. And then what I will do is I will do these first, then I'll add these to this, and then these ones to this one. Once I'm very happy with everything and how it's been assembled, I will then add my princess and my backing, cover it with the clear acrylic, let it dry for maybe 2 hours or whatnot, and then I will add my sealant, or sorry, my resin or triple thick. You can use regular resin if you wish, but I prefer the UV because, like I said previously, it only takes 2 or 3 minutes in a UV light, and the lamp is about I think it's 300 volts, and it's the same kind of lamp that you use for doing your gel nails. So let me finish all these up and then I will show you the final assembly of the top and the bottom layers. Right, so now as you can see, we've assembled everything. So instead of having 30 pieces, give or take, we now only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will take my first layer of shadows and make sure that I add the glue. 2 seconds. I try to cover as much of the area. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's handmade. The end result will make it look as if it was made at a store, at a factory, I should say. I take my first set of shadows and I align them onto my offset as much as possible. I try to center it. Let's see here. And the good thing about white glue is that you have enough time to lift things up and move them around. So you don't want any fast drying glue. There you go. These ends here are basically the crown and the wand for the princess. She's going to go like this. And all these ends will be fixed with the resin or the triple thick. Because they're going to children, I rather use the resin because it'll be a lot more durable. So those are 2 layers put together. I will work on now the 3rd layer. And again, you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. As it is only cardstock. I try to use 110-pound cardstock because along with the resin, it makes for a very sturdy project. Here we go. Now the second shadow and the one with the ring will fit perfectly because the only difference between the 2 layers is the ring. There you go. You just press everything down. There you have it. Now what I will do is I will adhere my printed fairy. And again, not a lot. The sides and everything will be sealed with the resin. So I don't worry too much about whether or not I've hit every single corner. Here we go. And she should sit flush with the top layer. See how she's coming along? And then we will now adhere the back. I always double check to make sure I don't put it on backwards. I've done that several times. Very quick and simple. Let me just get the corner here. Flip it over to make sure. And there you have it. Now I will add here the name. Again, a little bit goes a long way. Just a couple of dabs will do ya. Just lay my paintbrush down here. And that looks straight. Press it down, and there you have it. So what I'm going to do is I will take this outside and spray this, because I'm not spraying it in my house. It is stinky. Let's just put it that way. It's very strong. And there's a nice breeze outside, so after I've sprayed it, I leave it for a good, let's say, maybe 3 to 4 hours, just to make sure there's no tackiness to it. And then I hit it with the resin. So that's it for now. Alright, so I'm back with the final process in regards to creating a cardstock charm or keychain. So the previous video was in regards to how I assembled everything, the different layers. And if you can see, there's a slight shine to her because I did do the Podge acrylic spray. And that was just to make sure that once I add the UV resin, I would avoid having the colors run or get saturated. So this is what she looks like. So once I've applied this, I will put her into my UV lamp and cure her for about 2 to 3 minutes. It all depends on how many layers of the UV resin I put on. So let's start that. I like to use a silicone makeup brush. I do have other sizes coming from Amazon, but with everything happening due to the pandemic, some deliveries have been delayed. With the UV resin, you don't need a lot. I always like to start off with a little bit. So let's just say I put some here. And I'm just going to spread it around. The reason why I use silicone brushes is to avoid having any brush strokes left on the finished product. And a little bit does go a long way. I'm not brushing it on. I'm basically just dabbing a bit. You want to make sure you get in all the little nooks and crannies as well. This is my first tutorial in regards to showing you how to apply the resin. So please have a bit of patience with me. I will try to upload different videos every week, and I'm very open to any suggestions in regards to what it is that you would like to see. And if you do like my videos, please feel free to like and subscribe and leave me comments if there's something that you feel I left out, or if there's something in particular that you would like to see, or if you have any tips on how I can improve on my products or projects. Here we go. I'm almost done with the first layer. And you have to make sure that you get everything. Once my new brushes come, it'll be a lot easier because I do believe there are 5 different sizes. So I'll be able to get everything covered a lot easier. Now, if I hadn't put the spray sealant, there's a very high chance that my colors could bleed, which is what I don't want. Especially after all the hard work I put into assembling and creating this. Now you can also hit it with your heat gun if you see that there's any bubbles. I seem to be okay with there not being any. I don't know if you can see her. I try to make sure that everything is covered. Now I don't bother to do the sides and the back yet. I always do the front first, cure it, then I hit the back, and the sides are always last. Just go like this. Make sure everything is good. This is what it looks like when it's curing. And it goes in for about a minute, minute and a half. I'll take her out again, do another layer, and I will follow with the same steps about 2 or 3 more times, just to make sure that she's solid. I will do the front and the back and then the sides, and I'll show you the finished product after that. Here you go. This is the final product. It's been in the UV lamp for a good 3 minutes or so. 3 minutes each side. So 3 minutes here, 3 minutes in the back, and then the sides. So she is completely hard as nails. Quite durable. And what I will do next is I will add my jump rings, my beads, and whatever else that I want to add as an extra detail for her. And then she's off to her new home. So if you like our videos, please like them, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Feel free to leave any comments. And if there's anything in particular that you would like to see in regards to any more products or projects, let me know. I'll do my best to see if I can create them step by step for you. If you're looking for the clip art, I'll make sure I have the information in the description below. As for how I get the offsetting for the text, please check out my previous video. I get my texting done with the offset through an app called Phonto, which is phonto.com. And I do have a video as to how I do this. So thank you again for your time. Stay safe.